If there's one thing that you cannot escape from the internet at the minute, it is on every TikTok feed, it is on every Instagram and Facebook Reel feed, and it is on every YouTube Shorts feed. It is the Tuah girl. I made a video about her a couple of days ago and how overnight she has gone from a no one to an absolute success, and how she is using that one moment of internet popularity to her advantage to form a career, and good on her. Fair play to her. She deserves this moment because, well, she's got a great personality, to be perfectly honest. But it was spoken about and it was a topic on the Piers Morgan Uncensored show. Now, we obviously know that Piers Morgan is incredibly unfiltered when it comes to this kind of thing. And if you just take a little look at the lineup that he has got, of course, these people here are very outspoken when it comes. I mean, this guy absolutely hates Piers Morgan, and I love it whenever he's on there because they just attack each other, right? But they speak about the Tuah girl. Obviously, they speak about a lot of things, especially around transgender rights and, you know, transgender competing in sports, things like this. I'm not going to get into that because I feel like that's a can of worms that I do not want to open. But if you do want to check that full interview out, I'll link this whole thing down in the description. Sorry, but we're going to take a little look at the Tuah girl segment because I'd be intrigued to see what this panel and lineup and what Piers Morgan have to say about the Tuah girl, because personally I think she's fantastic. But let's see.
Thing we're going to cover, which is the Tuah girl.
Right, straight off the bat, that's not a good start, is it, Piers? Tuah. No, that's far too Tory. It's Tuah. Gotta give it some. It comes from the throat. That's what she said. Ha!
For those who haven't followed this phenomenon,
you got to do it properly, Piers.
How do you say it?
Oh God!
Right.
Thank you. Yes, I am in agreement with him.
Let's take a look at the original clip, which has gone viral around the world.
So good,
made
man.
This girl very famous.
So good.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
I don't get you. I think you gotta demonstrate.
Hawk too and spit on it. Spit on it.
No, I believe what she's referring to, Zuby, is oral sex. Let's not dance around the houses here.
Oh, no shit, Sherlock. Come on.
What's interesting has been the reaction. She's become a celebrity very, very quickly. Shaq O'Neal was hanging out with her. Country music stars had her on stage. She's giving big interviews.
Yeah.
This goes back to what you were saying about where society is going. You know, Andy Warhol warned that one day everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. Are we now living that dystopian life?
Now, this is going to be interesting because personally, I think that, like, you've got to look beyond the clip, right? The clip, yes, was what blew her to infamy. But what came next, you can't just ride that one thing forever, right? She can't go around the world for the rest of her life going, Tuah, and then expecting everyone to go, yeah! No, it's going to die out. And if anything, it has started to see the huge decline. But now it's all about what she does next. And she has got such a huge personality. If you watch her interviews, like I said, I did a video on her not too long ago. I think it was a couple of days ago. Go and check that out. If you look at how she interacts with people, she's got such a big personality. She's got a perfect personality for the internet. And she's just great.
Yeah, we are. And, you know, Piers, I know these stories are particularly selected, but it's all just degeneracy, ultimately. I'm not here trying to be some type of killjoy or Bible thumper or something. Like, I enjoy fun and entertainment as much as most people do. But I just think as a culture, we need to be... It's just odd what we are celebrating and perhaps also what we're not celebrating. It seems like we're kind of in this rush to the bottom. So I don't have super strong feelings about this. I just think it's just a reflection of where we are as a society, that it's managed to gain this level of steam and this much monetization and this much attention. I think in a more sane time or in a more sane world, it would have been a couple of chuckles and some memes online, and then it would just sort of quickly move on to something more important. So
I mean, you made a good point.
reflection.
You tweeted, I was just thinking, Tuah is the type of thing that would have been a massive sensation in the fictional version of the USA depicted in Idiocracy. and then it hit me. And I thought that was spot on. It's like, really, that's where things are heading, right? Fueled by social media, which makes everybody famous when they do dumb stuff.
Yeah, it's just where we are. And look, I know nothing about this young lady besides this situation, but I don't know how she's going to handle this. But it's probably not the thing you want to be sort of labeled as and known as for the rest of your lifetime.
Now, this is fair, I suppose, to a degree, and I've got some thoughts and opinions on it that I'm going to share with you now. Obviously, these are my thoughts and opinions on it. Like, people will agree with him, and to a degree I do. Nobody wants to be known as the lady that literally, right, insinuated oral sex and got famous for it, right? There are certain sites for that, and the internet is, you know, very good at making those kind of people very, very rich, but that's besides the point. But she's also said that she doesn't want to be known for that for the rest of her life. Like, you know, and she's already started to kind of try and move away from that. Yes, that's the clip that she's known for, but now I think we're going to start to see her known for a lot more. Like, the Hawk Tuah girl, right, that tagline, I'm going to use it as a title. Piers Morgan has used it as a title. Everybody uses it as a title. Because if you say her real name, which I think is Hayley something, can't remember. If you use her real name, everyone's like, who? But if you say Hawk Tuah girl, everyone's like, oh, her. But that's what she's known as for now, until the next thing. Let's think of other streamers, for example. iShowSpeed. Huge internet streamer, right? Huge internet personality. Probably one of the biggest right now on the internet. And he's famous for doing dumb stuff. Really stupid stuff. And every time he escalates, and it started like on the 4th of July a few years ago when he blew up his bedroom using fireworks. He was one of the first people to do it. The moment went viral, and look at the career that he's built now. He is a multi-millionaire. If she plays her cards right, the Hawk Tuah girl, she's on that level of trajectory, for sure. She's just got to play it well, and she's got management now, so they're going to be guiding her in the right direction and kind of, you know, helping her to progress that. I think she could become a good entertainer. But the difference is you've got people like Piers Morgan who had to do it through, like, you know, the news, the press, and then he went on to mainstream TV, which, by the way, mainstream TV is a dying form now. Like, not many people really watch TV compared to streaming platforms like YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime, those kind of things. So this, to someone like Piers Morgan, is quite an alien concept, I suppose, because he's like, oh, someone got famous for that? Like, that's ridiculous. I had to work really hard to get to where I am. But, you know, at the same time, like, I can guarantee, well, he is riding the social media wave right now. Like, his YouTube channel, for example, is riding the wave of pop culture news and stuff. So it swings and roundabouts, I suppose.
And that's easily what it could be. There are people who have just been turned into memes at this point, and they kind of live with that for the rest of their life. And I don't think it's a great situation to be in, but, you know, I guess we'll see how it
particularly
plays
as a
out.
woman. I know, like, probably every guy on this panel is not wanting to say it, but it's crass and it's tacky and it's classless. And I think us normalizing women, I mean, I wouldn't have answered that question, quite frankly.
I mean, it was all...
But at the same time, it's just such a good response, which is exactly why she got famous, because her personality was so fantastic. She didn't go, oh, I'm not going to answer that, see you later. You know, because that's a bit like, oh, well, that's a bit boring. But just because she gave no shits when she did it, she didn't care. She just went for it. And then she laughed it off at the end. You could tell she was being jovial. She was having fun with it. You know, I respect people like that who've got the confidence to do that in front of an audience, or especially if it's behind a camera. Because obviously that lasts a lot longer, being on the internet. And, you know, I can guarantee she would not take that moment back if she had the opportunity to, because, you know, look at where she is now. She quit her job. She's living her best life.
all
I
those
think
things,
it's
but I have to say,
completely unladylike.
Esther, I have to be honest. I'm not going to lie. When I watched it, it did.
What is a lady these days, though, right? Like, I feel like it's, like, is it still, like, this is a genuine question to you, the audience, who are watching this right now. What defines ladylike? Is it still, like, being expected to, you know, cook, clean, and manage a household? Because I don't think that is anymore. We're not in that age where women run the house and men go out to work. It's not that. The society isn't that way anymore. I mean, for most people in most households, 2 people need a job just to keep a roof over your head. So it's just not let's weigh it up a little bit. Maybe if it was like 100 or 200 years ago, yeah, you'd be burned at the stake for that shit because you'd be a witch for Tuah, you know? But today, it's fantastic. It's so good. And I think this is where we divide age gaps, right? Like, truly, I think age gaps get divided just by this one clip alone.
Did make me laugh. I mean, it was outrageous. It was crass. It was all those things. It was also funny. I mean,
but that's what made it so good.
To lose, as a society, our collective sense of humour about what is just a ridiculously outrageous, funny moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think there's something to be said about women not feeling like they have to behave in the way that male comedians do to be funny.
I disagree strongly with this because that's not how this is. Like, you don't have to be like. Why are women getting compared to men? You know, this is the issue, right? And it would be like the feminist style of people that will do this and then like get really upset if Piers had said that, there'd be uproar, because it's like, you know, if Piers turned around and said, you know, why are women trying to act like male comedians to try and get that level of notoriety? Uproar. Furious. But then when a woman says it, it's like, oh, what a powerful woman. But it's a bit like, the argument's a bit null and void. Do you know what I mean? Like, if a man had done it, he could not have pulled it off in the same way that a woman had. Like, she pulled it off because it was just perfect. She was perfect for that line. Let's put it that way.
You don't have to be crass as a female to be funny.
Okay.
She's not a comedian. She's
Why do we have to?
Yeah, but the context of the question, like, if she could have said, if the question was different, she might have come out with something equally as witty and hilarious. But it's just contextual. Like, you know, like the question was crass, so she gave a crass answer. She met the guy when, like, at his level when he asked the question, and that's what's so good about it. Why is this an issue? Why are people so upset about it? I don't get it.
Withhold ourselves then?
Say that again, Eli?
Should we have to put ourselves to a higher standard than the male comedians?
Well, funny enough, if a man had said that about if a man had said something similar about a woman, I don't think it would have got the same traction.
Exactly, this is what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Piers. For the first time, I think we agree on something.
I think that man would have been cancelled pretty quickly.
Yes, absolutely.
I think you, Eli, and you, James, would have led the cancellation charge for this disgusting misogynist rat bag saying something disgusting about.
I love this. This is good.
About women. So there is a double standard, but not the way you made it.
I don't think she said anything disgusting about men.
There is a double standard. No, but if
I agree with this. Piers has hit the nail on the head, and he described what I was trying to describe so much better than I did.
If a man does that kind of thing,
well, I do. I often do.
What, do you do a hook tour to women?
I do a hook tour.
Really?
You do a hook tour to women, yeah?
No, but I'm not straight, so no. But I'm sure you. I don't understand why everyone is clutching their pearls today.
Because it's gross and it's unladylike.
She's
I'm
free.
sorry.
She's just.
What is ladylike though? What is ladylike? Like, why do women have to have this level of like class about them to be accepted in society? No, fuck that. Bin that off. Let women be how women want to be. Let men be how they want to be. Let anyone who identifies as anything else, because I don't want to get cancelled, be how they want to be. They want to be crass, let them be crass. Who cares? Like, you know, if it's not for you, you don't watch it.
Just living her sexuality. There's nothing wrong with just being yourself.
I do think that's a valid point. I do. Actually.
There's nothing wrong with this, and the reason it's fine for her to do it is because she's not embarrassed. She doesn't have any shame, and she's happy.
That's a problem. We used to have shame in society.
She's not going to be embarrassed by that.
We used to regulate people's behaviour. We used to have shame.
Yeah, well,
no, it used to. Is this woman living like in the 1800s or something? No, woman, get in the bin.
Back to the Victorian times, Esther, if that's what you want to do.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Sat next to Queen Victoria.
Women had more self-respect. I'm sorry, you don't need to
women
sit
have
there
more
and
self-respect
say
now,
that
they
the
are
way that you
being
keep
pushed
a
down by
man
men.
happy is to spit on his penis.
Well, there was a follow-up.
Sorry, what?
What
would you rather she said? Oh, cook him dinner.
I'm not answering that question. It's none of your business.
James is. Oh, we are on the same wave level today. I'm loving this.
If I could just jump in to calm
It is
things
bad
down.
technique.
She did appear on a podcast and she was asked if she would hawk Tuah. Well, how is it? Donald Trump or not. And
Right.
This is how she replied.
Donald Trump.
No, absolutely not.
No.
It's a no from me.
Okay, no.
What was interesting was people completely misconstrued that clip and thought she was talking about whether she would vote for him.
Right.
And so everyone on the...
For context, I have watched the interview and I broke it down over on the previous video that I made. Basically, the interviewer was asking the Huck Tuah girl whether she would Huck Tuah or pass. Basically, like, would she like sleep with or would she not sleep with a list of men? And then she listed them off, and Donald Trump was just one of them. I don't know how that could possibly be misconstrued, but it is the internet, I suppose.
Conservative right, led by that goon, what's her name, Laura Loomer, went after this girl and started abusing her. Haley Welch, her name is, called her a Biden supporter, blah, blah, blah. It was actually nothing
Haley Welch, that's right.
to do with any of that.
Yeah.
She was actually talking about hawk Tuah
I have certain
and
people
Trump.
I would not vote for, so those two things
James.
interact.
We have a bit of music to go with the hawk Tuah. Let's have a look at whatever it is.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk to and spit on that thing.
There was a phrase that
This is
struck
so
a
good.
chord and took the internet by storm. A phrase for when she's spitting right onto you. A dude said this to these two chicks, what always brings a man to bliss. And she said, spit on that thing,
It's so good.
You know what? I actually want to interview Hawk Tuah again. Can we get her on? I actually want to interview.
I would watch that in a heartbeat, right? But this is what the beautiful thing about the internet is. It wasn't just her that went viral. It was everyone else that blew this to popularity because they memed it, they made songs about it, and this is how the internet works now. You don't just have to be like solo going and getting, like, if you can get a clip that gets redistributed by the internet, you're winning. That's how the internet works. Piers Morgan knows this very well because, of course, his interview with Fiona Harvey was redistributed by millions of people, right? I redistributed it in the form of a reaction video and a breakdown analysis on my channel. Multiple other YouTube channels did. People took clips from that and redistributed it on TikTok and Instagram and stuff and created memes from it. Like, this is just how the internet works.
Yeah. She's one of the most famous people on the planet right now. It's quite extraordinary. But Zuby, where is society going with this? I mean, are we going to get? I kind of agree, bafflingly, with James on this. Is that you don't want to completely get so po-faced. You can't just have fun moments involving people talking about sex. However, and isn't it interesting? However, what social media now does, it amplifies things globally very, very quickly, and does that in the end have a corrosive effect on the standards in society? And is that where we want to go?
I think this is the wrong question to ask. I think the question should be, are people prepared for that? Because this girl, right, you know, she even said in her interview that she did, 6 months prior to this whole thing going on, she deleted all forms of social media because she just didn't use it. So, you know, she then goes and does this interview, Huck Tuah, all the rest of it. The guy posts it. She sees it. It has like a couple of thousand views. She doesn't care. Goes to sleep. Wakes up the next morning. She's an instant celebrity. Everyone wants to talk to her. The thing has gone mega viral with multi-million views, right? The question should be, not is this corroding society, but the question should be surrounding the people that this involves. In my opinion, was Haley Welch prepared for this level of internet fame like that? There was no acting school to get her prepared for this and knowing what she was going to do. There was no singing lessons knowing that she's going to be a global pop star one day. There is no training for this. There is no media training. There is no training and, you know, going through an academy to be the next best footballer or rugby player or whatever. She literally said one line and then she's famous. Everyone knows her name. Everyone knows her face. I think the question should be, are these people prepared for this level of success?
Yeah, it's a great question, Piers. I don't think it's where we want to go. And like I said, I'm not a killjoy. I think it was funny, right? It's something that
Bro, he says he's not a killjoy, but he's the most boring one on this panel right now.
is funny. The thing that is bewildering is just the level of the response. I think that's the thing that is very bewildering. And look, I think as a society, we just need a semblance of balance. I think that's something that strikes me on all of these issues that we've talked about here and many other things going on. I just think that there's an absence of balance. Everything needs to get pushed either all the way to the left or all the way to the right. I mean that both politically and metaphorically. And with most things, there is a sensible middle where we can have true decency and equality and fairness. And we were kind of at that point, I want to say, in the late 90s or perhaps early to mid thousands, and then it's just kind of overshot on every single issue.
Well, funny enough,
issues,
you can chart it really.
Issues, so
you can chart it really when cell phones came in, when the internet began, and when social media began. Because before that, there wasn't the ability to be a kind of narcissistic exhibitionist and get much of an audience. You know, you'd have to do something completely outrageous on a national stage to make national media 30, 40 years ago. But now you can very quickly just put something on social media and be a global sensation within half an hour. That's what's changed. The ability to lead the 15-minute life that Warhol said. Eli, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say also, I would think we should blame this less on the individual and more on like marketing, branding, mass media that's trying to push people to create brands rather than work on their own lives. I mean, we are constantly told that we're supposed to be self-marketing and self-branding by our education system, by schools, by media and businesses. And I think this is a big part of it that speaks to a broader issue.
But she wasn't really doing what she did, I don't think, for any self-promotional branding. She literally just said the first thing that came into her head.
Well, that's it. I mean, like I say, she didn't have any form of social media, so she didn't have a social media presence prior to this. She didn't say, go and follow me on Instagram, huck Tuah. She didn't say, go and follow me on TikTok, huck Tuah. You know, it was literally, she answered a question, blew up from it. She still, I think, or has only recently got social media accounts for her now brand. Of course, it is now a brand. Let's not beat around the bush with that. But prior to this, there was no self-branding. She wasn't doing this for any personal gain. She just answered a question on a night out. She was having a great time.
Well, she did show up on talk shows afterwards.
She did. No, she made the most of her fame. But I don't think her motivation for saying what she said was driven by any sense of becoming a brand.
I think anyone in her position would have capitalized on this, for sure. Like, what a lifestyle to lead, becoming a social media influencer, you know? It's a great job to have, and, you know, it unlocks so many doors that a typical 9-to-5 wouldn't. And that's not me shitting on 9-to-5s. You know, I've led a 9-to-5 life, and, you know, it wasn't for me because I struggled with the lifestyle, but at the same time, you know, I still really enjoyed it, being a teacher and everything. So, you know, it was just, I think this avenue of lifestyle is what anyone would want to do if it's what you're interested in. And I think anyone who was of her age, I think she was 21, of her demographic, of her lifestyle, would absolutely want to get out of a spring factory and go and be known for being a funny person, you know?
I don't think she thought for a moment anyone would probably ever see this. That's what's interesting, is that these things can catch fire. And I think, to her credit, as I think you said, Eli, was it that this, or was it you, James, that she doesn't have any shame, right? Which is, to her credit. If she's not ashamed by it, and she's talking about...
You are so boring, it is unreal. Like, get in the bin.
Having sex, then why are we getting so po-faced, I guess?
Because we used to be a society with shame.
You need to get with the 21st century, lady. Like, you need to get in 2024 and get out of the Victorian times, because that shit's been and gone. Society's different. Move on.
Yeah,
So
but
it's not a
we
good
shouldn't have
thing
any
to
shame.
watch the disintegration of shame
Well, I
and,
think
and
only-
standards for people, standards of behaviour,
Catch
and
up.
morality and decency.
I think
don't think that's a good
OnlyFans
thing.
is responsible for that in a way as well.
Yeah.
That whole culture. I mean, I just genuinely believe everyone will be fully naked on the internet within the next 20 years.
God.
So, Piers, looking forward to seeing your nudes.
Well, someone told me you brought something with you today.
Oh my God, yes. Well, you were talking about spanking, so I thought you might like to see me getting spanked.
Oh my
This
God.
is me at LA Pride
Have we
last
actually
year.
got a clip of it? Oh my God.
Absolutely not.
Is that you?
That's
Absolutely
me.
not.
Oh my God. What are you doing, Bob?
We'll hope to see you guys here. Don't leave.
What am I watching? Is this a Pride event?
Yeah, that was
Of course it is.
LA Pride
Of
last
course it
year.
is. LA Pride.
LA Pride.
Does that make you proud?
That's me in the fetish zone. Yeah, I'm
No
proud,
wonder you
because
stood
there was
by Hawkswell,
absolutely
girl.
nothing sexual happening there at all.
What is
I was
going-
just
what is
enjoying
happening
a new
there?
experience,
What
getting
was happening
spanked. It was wonderful.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't leave with any marks.
I'm contacting HR after this.
I
Absolutely
think this is
not.
all
I
part
also
of the
only really wanted to show that
degeneration of
clip, so I
society.
thought it was
Let me go to another subject, raw dogging, which I must admit I'd never heard of and feared the worst. It's
I think we're moving out of the Huck Tuah area here, so I'm gonna stop it there. Like I say, if you want to check out the full interview, let me know, or check it out in the description. But while you're down there, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. Do you agree with me? Do you think that do you think she deserves this level of like hatred that she's getting towards her, or do you think it's completely justified? Because I'm of the mindset that, she was just having a good time, there was no self-promotion, but she's just making the most of a great situation that she finds herself in. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below while you're down there. Be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button if you have not already. Subscribe if you're new to my little bell to get notified whenever we upload to the channel. Until next time, hope to see you in the next one, and I'll speak to you later. Peace.